A legal expert is praising special counsel Jack Smith for putting Judge Aileen Cannon on the spot with one of her own cases. The Daily Beast reports that Smith reminded Judge Cannon that she had once stopped the defendant from using the discovery process in order to delay their trial. The same tactic Trump is now using in his case. In fact, the former president's legal team has been asking the judge to force the Department of Justice to turn over even more documents than the 1.3 million pages they've already received. Now, they're doing this in order to bolster claims that the Mar-a-Lago documents case is a quote-unquote selective prosecution. The ultimate goal here, though, is to continue to delay this trial. Now, Smith's team reminded Cannon that she had worked on another case that had limited this fishing expedition. Catherine Ross, professor emeritus at George Washington University Law School, tells the outlet, quote, "It's not quite the same as confronting a judge with an opinion they wrote or joined. I don't think selective prosecution comes up often. There are very few people who can pass the laugh test on claiming that. I think they have her locked in a pretty tight spot if she were a normal judge." Now, that's kind of a big if. I don't think she's a normal judge at all. I think she's massively in the tank for Donald Trump. Nonetheless, Smith cited a case that she had worked on, right? Which one? Well, she had worked on a case involving, this is a 2015 sting operation that busted two men planning to rob a fake stash house. Now, they showed up armed with AK-47s. They were arrested. Now, this was tried in South Florida at the time when Canon was a prosecutor. So one of them appealed his conviction by arguing that he was targeted by selective prosecution. Now, in this case, selective prosecution, he claimed was, it's the fact that I'm a black or Hispanic. Or that's why I've got this selective prosecution at me because of my race. Now, Donald Trump can't argue that, okay? So he's arguing selective prosecution in the fact that he's running against Joe Biden in the election. Of course, when the Mar-a-Lago documents happened, that was after he was no longer president. He took the documents from the White House, hid it at Mar-a-Lago, and then when the government asked for the documents back, he said, no, not going to do it, not going to give you the documents, they're mine. No, they're clearly not. They asked him over and over again, and in Trump fashion, he turned what wouldn't have been a problem had he just returned the things into a massive problem. And I don't understand what's selective prosecution about going after him for obstructing justice, the attempt to return these documents. But anyway, that's what he's claiming. Now, Cannon, back to her, she was already on the bench when her former team had actually won that case. So he claimed selective prosecution. The Cannon team was like, no, nope. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals pointed to a longstanding precedent that requires a quote-unquote demanding burden to make that claim, and Smith's prosecutors reminded the judge of that case to argue that she should rule against Trump for the same reason. Hey, where's that demanding burden? Yeah, exactly. You don't have it. Now, Ross went on to say of Cannon, quote, "She's worked on almost no cases, had very little courtroom experience. To find a case that she actually worked on and that resulted in a published opinion is in itself improbable." Meaning that, wow, I did not expect to see anything like this, and wow, here it is. Quote, "It's a brilliant maneuver, and particularly with a judge who had so little trial background." And look, right there is kind of all you need to know to prove that she's in the tank for Donald Trump. Okay? I mean, he put her on the bench, and she's ruled in his favor, almost every single chance that she can get. And the result is he's continued to stall not only this case, but as he continued to stall this case, other cases get pushed back as well until past the election, which was the entire point. Okay? appeal after appeal after appeal after appeal, and oh, look at that. Oh, and we need more discovery. Oh, 1.3 million pages of documents. We need more documents. Selective persecution or prosecution. To see Smith coming in and digging into her record and finding one of the few cases that she worked on and have it go the opposite way that she would rule on Trump, I mean, this is just perfect. It's icing on the cake. It's beautiful. I mean, it just completely obliterates her own case, her own ruling. And it shows that she is not an impartial judge and needs to be replaced. Now, I want to give one more quote here from Robert A. Sanders, who's a retired Navy JAG captain who now teaches law at the University of New Haven. He said of Smith, quote, "It's smart lawyering. The message is, hey, remember what you did earlier and how you got jammed up for it? When you went in a direction no one in the world thought was right? Think about what you're going to do this time." Well, look, I already know the answer. She's going to do whatever she can to help Donald Trump. Okay, we know this. The point here, I think that Smith is doing is to show her, hey, I'm onto you. I know what you're doing. And I think you need to at least start pretending to be fair and not always blanket ruling on behalf of Donald Trump. Because if you don't, there's going to be no other choice here than to try to appeal to get her removed from the case. If you don't want that, if you want to actually show that you are fair, show that you are impartial, you're going to rule the right way, okay, and not allow this case to continue to be stalled further and further and further. And if you're not willing to do that, then we're going to start the process of trying to get you replaced. Now, I don't think he's doing that, but right now, because it is very difficult to get a judge replaced, and that's if she doesn't recuse herself. But I think Smith is slowly setting up this case with appeal after appeal and, motion after motion that he's filing in this case, showing that she has a bias towards Trump. He continues to lay out this paper trail of different motions and questionable decisions that Canon has made. Eventually, he's going to be able to make that case to superiors. And again, fair being fair, if they do follow the law, if they care about jurisprudence, then they would, if she doesn't straighten up, get her replaced, thrown her off the case.